So absolute values, when you're working with inequalities, they work the exact same way that we reviewed in lesson 1.6 when it was just an equal sign, but there's also special rules that you can look at up here as well. So what the rules say is that if you have the absolute value of something and it's less than A, that means it has to be between negative A and positive A. Okay? But if we, and you're welcome to use those. The book goes through the example like that. So if you want to look at this, go ahead and take a look at the book. I'm going to keep things consistent and I'm going to show you how to do it the same way that we did in lesson 1.6 with our equations. So if we were to solve and then graph these, remember we said that when you have the absolute value, it could be the positive or the negative version of whatever's inside. And then in this case, it's going to be less than 2. So we can have positive, right? We can split it into 2, positive and the negative version. So if we have positive x minus 5, so it doesn't change if it's positive, that could be less than 2. Or we could have negative x minus 5, and remember the negative has to be applied to both of those terms, is less than 2, and we can solve each one. So if we do that, on the first equation we have, all we would have to do is add 5. So we get x is less than 7. No changes need to be made. There's one of our parameters. So x has to be less than 7. And then if we go to our other equation and we solve that one, we would first distribute the negative and then subtract 5. So negative 1x is less than negative 3. Here we do need to divide by a negative 1. So when we divide by a negative, we're going to flip the sign around. And then negative divided by negative there gives us positive 3. So x is greater than 3. So if we kind of think about this, if x is less than 7, right, it has to be less than 7. This is the largest we can go. So that's like the top, like I kind of described before, the top of the graph. And then if it's greater than 3, this is the smallest we can go. And that's kind of like the bottom of the number line like we talked about. Kind of help you organize your thoughts a little bit. So then when we graph this, we said 7 is the largest it can go. And then 3 is the smallest it can go. So it's going to go between 3 and 7. And it is going to have parentheses on both because neither are equal. So 7 is the largest with the parenthesis, 3 is the smallest with the parenthesis, and then we can color in, kind of make that line in between thicker. Okay. If we were to combine these into one inequality, we would have 3 is less than x is less than 7. If we were to write it as a interval notation, we'd have parentheses 3 up to 7 with a parentheses. So there's 3 representations. We've got our inequality, we've got our graph, and we've got our interval notation. So if we go ahead and do the same idea for letter B, right? Absolute value means it could be positive or negative. So if we do the positive version, we'd have x plus 3 is greater than or equal to 7. And if we did the negative version, negative x plus 3, greater than or equal to 7, and solve. So we get x is greater than or equal to 4 as 1. So it has to be greater than 4, which means 4 would be like the bottom, right? Because x has to be bigger than that. And then if we solve here, and we divide by a negative 1, we're going to flip our sign around. So x is less than or equal to negative 10. So this is like the top, right? It has to be greater than or equal to 4, but less than or equal to negative 10. But notice how like negative 10 is smaller than 4, right? How can this be the top if 4 is bigger and it's supposed to be the bottom? So in this case, we have a situation where we don't have any overlap. They're going to be separate from each other. So like on our number line, we're going to graph 2 separate thoughts. We're going to graph where x is greater than or equal to 4. there's my -10. There's my 4. So we're going to graph where x is greater than or equal to. So for 4, we'd put a bracket and we'd draw up with an arrow. And then for -10, we would again draw a bracket, but it's going to be less than that. So in this case, there's no overlap between the two. They're two separate chunks of your graph, if you want to think about it that way. And then because they're separate, if we were to write our interval notation and our inequalities, our inequalities would just be separate. We would just say x is less than or equal to -10, x is greater than or equal to 4. And then for our interval notation, we would have 2 sets of parentheses or brackets. So for -10, we would say that we can go all the way to -infinity, but then we can only go up to -10. -infinity always gets a parenthesis. And then for greater than 4, we can say, well, we can start at 4, but then we're going up to infinity. So when it's broken apart like that, the inequalities are separate and the interval notation is separate. All right, a application of comparative shopping, which is very, very useful. So we've got 2 cell phone plans. How many additional minutes must you use in 1 month for plan B to cost more than plan A? So we want to know when plan B is greater than plan A. Okay, how many minutes? Well, if you look at the cost of each one, plan A here, we'll do that one in red. Plan A is $49.99 a month for 500 minutes plus 40 cents for every additional minute. So we'll call that M. And then plan B, so I want to know when plan B is greater, and we'll do plan B in blue. So plan B is $45.99 a month for the same 500 minutes. Notice they both have the original 500. We want to know how many additional minutes, so we want to solve for the additional minutes part. And that one is 45 cents, so 0.45 for every minute. And then once you have your equation here, it's just a pretty simple inequality to go through and solve. So if we do that, I'm going to subtract the 45.99. And then subtract the 0.4. You could call it 0.40 if that looks nicer for you. So then essentially our difference is 5 cents a minute, and then greater than 4. So if we solve that, the number of additional minutes for plan B, like we talked about up here, plan B to be greater than plan A, those additional minutes have to be greater than, and if we divide, we get 80. So plan B costs more when there are more than 80 additional minutes. So a good way to compare 2 different plans, 2 different insurance companies, 2 different gyms, if you're looking at buying a gym membership, anything like that, you should always do price comparisons on. So pretty simple but applicable application here.